goodness.
It hit all at once. Hail pelted parts of the South Hill this afternoon. Then came the rain. It was too much for the storm drains, and it quickly spilled over into the streets. This was Division, just north of the Spokane River. Near I-90 and Maple, water poured into an apartment complex.
It was literally almost all the way up to the top of the door jam, and it was just pouring through the basement door.
TJ Menock looked more like a river, forcing crews to shut the road down. Even first responders weren't immune to the troubles. A fire truck got stuck in a sinkhole in the Perry district. From widespread flooding to power outages, KREM 2 was all over the fallout from today's powerful spring storm. Well, there was a lot of this happening around Spokane tonight. Drivers stalled and high water had to be towed to higher ground. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. I'm Whitney Ward here alongside Tom Sherry. The rain, the hail, it came in very fast today, right as rush hour traffic was all getting started. We've got all the angles covered tonight. Yeah, we are tracking new numbers on exactly how much rain fell in just 20 minutes time tonight, and floodwaters took the stage at the Fox instead of legend Art Garfunkel. We're going to show you how people dealt with all the rain and the flooded streets, and then after all of this, what do our downtown streets look like right now? We're going to start though here with Tom Sherry. Of course, we knew the storm was coming, and boy, did it pack a punch.
It sure did. And you talk about how much rain fell. Well, we had almost an inch of rainfall in downtown Spokane in 20 minutes. Overall, though, we saw more than that. Take a look at this time-lapse photography. It starts out kind of slow, and then you see the rain really beginning to build. Here's part of the almost inch of rain that fell in a 20-minute period. I mean, it was just incredible. Overall, when you take a look at all the rain that has fallen in Spokane today, you can see that we actually picked up almost an inch and a half of rain. It was just too much rain for the storm drains to handle. And you saw that once the rain stopped, they were able to handle the overflow, but boy, it took a while for the drains to catch up. Spokane Valley out at Phelps Field picked up almost 3/4 of an inch of rain. Here on the South Hill at KREM 2, we picked up a ½ inch, 1/4 inch being reported out at the Spokane Airport. And look at this, Lakeview Park in Grant County picked up 2.5 inches of rain with this storm. It was unbelievable. And we still have rain falling in Spokane, and more is headed our way. You can see it down to the southeast of us in north central Idaho. Again, that's all tracking up towards the northwest. Lots of rain still falling down in the lower Columbia Basin, but we shouldn't see any more wicked thunderstorms like we saw today. And because of all the rain and the expected rain, flood watch is in effect through Saturday morning for everywhere you see shaded in green. Tomorrow we'll look for a daytime high of 55 degrees, so much cooler than average. We'll get up to 62 on Saturday. Saturday should be mostly dry, and then a chance of more showers or thunderstorms on Sunday. I'll check the rest of your forecast and your 10-day outlook coming up in a few minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you very much. Well, check out this video. One of our directors, Courtney, shared it with us of a very flooded Division Street near North River Drive.
So it was just an incredible amount of water, just like Tom said. Our Casey Decker is actually live in downtown Spokane tonight, back in that same spot to check on how things are looking now. Hi, Casey.
Hey, Whitney. Well, things right now are quite a bit quieter than what you saw in that dramatic video there. Still a light rain right now, and maybe a decent-sized puddle or two in the road, but for the most part, it's just kind of damp streets. Still, throughout the day, this rain has caused a number of issues, from the flooded roads to small landslides earlier, and in the case of one woman I met today, a flooded apartment.
All of a sudden, I heard like this gurgling sound coming from the bathroom, and I opened the door, and the toilet was spurting black water out of it.
Janice Slaughter lives in a basement apartment of the Maplehurst complex downtown. Not long after she got home from work, the torrential rains became frightening flooding.
And I came outside, and the whole street was like just buried.
The waters quickly poured in, rising nearly halfway up this doorway. She quickly worked with her neighbors to protect their homes, pushing water and debris away from the rooms. Their fast teamwork helped stop the most serious damage.
I still can live there. It's a little bit of water, and we're going to get it soaked up, and it'll be okay.
For Janice, that was especially important. There are some truly priceless things in her apartment.
The water came through my windows, and my mom just recently passed away, and so all her pictures and stuff were there, and I was really worried about that, but thankfully they didn't get ruined. They're a little wet, but they're salvageable. So
after just a few hours, most of the water and debris had been cleaned up, and the neighbors brought a little closer together by their hard work.
I am feeling so happy inside right now because, like I said, it could have been a whole lot worse, and I'm just very thankful for the people that I do live with in this apartment complex. So I'm very thankful to them.
So it's always just so amazing to see communities, neighbors banding together to face challenges like this. We saw that one story there at Maplehurst, but I'm sure there are tons more all around the Inland Northwest tonight. Mark, Whitney?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
neighbors helping neighbors, right? That's the good part of this. Well, the Fox Theater in downtown Spokane also flooded this evening, forcing them to cancel tonight's performance with Art Garfunkel.
In a Facebook post, they said there's flooding inside the theater in front of the stage, and because of that, they said they had no choice but to cancel tonight's performance.
So there were various electrical cables, all strewn about. Obviously, that water and electrical cables don't mix so well, so that was a concern. And yeah, I mean, just, getting around backstage was really impossible. So for that reason, we couldn't do the show. And then specifically because we couldn't have Art Garfunkel and his crew on stage ahead of time.
So they tell us they are now working to reschedule that show. And as soon as we learn more, we'll be sure to pass it along to you.
All the rain caused flash flooding on TJ Meanock Drive this evening and left behind a big mess. You can see cars struggling to get up the road. Look at all that water.
Wow.
The water even pushed some cars back down the hill. The road's still blocked in both directions tonight. The city of Spokane does not have an estimate on when it will reopen.
There was standing water that caused all kinds of headaches all across the area tonight, and it took an especially heavy toll on the evening commute.
Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is out on the roads in the mobile storm tracker this evening with a check of conditions now. Hi, Thomas.
Hey there, Mark and Whitney. Yeah, just following up on some of the flooded roads that we saw from earlier this afternoon, especially during that evening commute hour. This is what I think was the hardest hit area between Maple and Walnut, as well as 5th and 4th Avenue. So this is 4th right here with Walnut, the intersecting street in front of us. And basically from here and the next intersection that you see was the hardest hit and the hardest flooded area. You might be able to tell there's a little bit of some gravel that's in the road. That was really because the water kind of deposited it there from the flooding from earlier, but now it's all good to go. Check back at what the video we had from earlier today, and the road itself, as well as part of the sidewalk, was just covered in those flood waters, and it made for a very difficult go in this intersection. And at times we saw some police officers starting to close off a couple lanes at a time, but once the rain started to subside quite a bit, well, so did the flood waters as well. So that brings us back to where we're at now. We're just getting a few sprinkles out here, so not expecting any more flood conditions to worsen, but make sure to mind any flooded roads or closed roads as of tonight, because you'll have to detour those around for tomorrow morning's commute. Reporting live from the mobile storm tracker, I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Back to you in the studio.
Thomas, thank you. He kind of touched on it there, but the water was high enough in some areas it forced crews to shut down certain roads and reroute traffic.
Yeah, it caused just a ton of backups pretty much everywhere. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares a look back at the worst of it from earlier tonight.
We've been all over Spokane today, from downtown Spokane at Kendall Yards, moving up north, and ended up here at Francis and Canyon, where this intersection is seeing some major flooding. Several cars had to be towed out because they were stuck and were stalled in this body of water here. We even captured video of one woman whose car had to be pulled out after trying to drive through the intersection.
Ready?
When I got here, there were several cars, basically, that were stuck in the water. A couple of them, everyone that was able to get out, but it was, they had to ditch their cars there in the roadway. And then we actually had some kayakers show up and give us a hand with clearing the cars, making sure there was nobody else in there.
A KREM 2 viewer sent us this video of flooding on North Division near North River Drive. When we got to that area, the water covered the entire road. Spokane police set out flares in the far right lanes, directing traffic away from the flooding. But some cars, though, had no choice but to go through it. Employees and customers at the Jewelry Design Center watched as the water crept up to the parking lot entrance. We were at My Fresh Basket in Kendall Yards at about 5 p.m. when the downpour flooded the streets in a matter of minutes. Look at this, the crosswalk. This is not safe to walk through. Take a look at these cars here. They're driving through Summit Parkway at Kendall Yards onto the Monroe Street Bridge. It's pretty deep. To some, it didn't matter how deep the water was. This man decided to take his chances and walk through what turned out to be ankle-deep water on the north end of the Monroe Street Bridge.
I think this is probably the most in town that I've seen in a long time.
Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And while the worst of the flooding is over in downtown Spokane, the work just getting started now for cleanup crews. The city of Spokane tweeted out these pictures tonight, writing, "Long night ahead for wastewater crews. Don't drive through flooded areas and obey road closed signs."
So at its peak, the storm did knock out power to at least 5,000 people. The vast majority were in the city of Spokane and in Spokane Valley. Crews, though, were quick to get things restored for most customers. As we take a look now at the latest Avista outage map, there are about 1,000 homes and businesses still without electricity at this hour, the vast majority of them in the valley and along the Division corridor. Some new ones, though, up near Sandpoint and Pend Oreille as well. And as for other power companies around the region, Inland Power down to fewer than 60, it looks like. In the dark, Kootenai Electric and Vera Water and Power have restored electricity to all customers who were knocked out earlier tonight.
In all the madness of the severe weather, this happened. A fire truck got stuck in a sinkhole in the Perry district. Firefighters tell us they were sent to find a broken water main and, well, they found it. The break caused the road to collapse beneath them. Firefighters say the pipe burst was likely not related to the storm, but it did cause flooding in at least 3 nearby homes. A tow truck was able to eventually get that fire truck out. Wow. Never a good thing when the first responders are calling for help, right?
No, definitely not.
All right, we are going to continue to keep a close eye on the weather tonight.
Yes, you can find even more information on our website. Just go to KREM.com. You can always get more on our KREM 2 mobile app as well. For now, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
You're watching KREM 2 News at 11.
Welcome back. It's been exactly 1 month since a beloved Spokane climber died in an avalanche in the Canadian Rockies.
Jess Ross Kelly left his mark on this community and all around the world, and no one knows that more than his wife, Allison. Today, she sat down with KREM 2's Tim Pham.
The lights are on at the Bing Crosby Theater. Tomorrow, the community will come together to celebrate the life of a man who not only made a difference in Spokane, but also around the world. She sees them every morning, words of encouragement and love written on dozens of cards. They help with grieving, but some days aren't as easy.
The last few weeks have been really, really hard. A lot of roller coasters, a lot of up and down.
Allison Ross Kelly married her best friend, a man who loved her in a way she never knew existed. You knew him as a world-renowned climber. Allison says he was so much more.
He was an amazing husband. He was a very talented welding inspector. He was a family man. He was an amazing dog dad and had an obsession with our bulldog. So he was just much more than just a climber, and we wanted to really make a celebration of life that really grasps that.
And that's exactly what the Ross Kelly family will do, a celebration of life to highlight what Jess brought to this world.
That's the best thing about Jess, is he touched people in so many different ways, and people have so many great stories to tell about him, and we want to hear that.
In a time that is dark, so many people have provided light. Complete strangers and people who love Jess continue to lift her up every day.
Like knowing that Jess and I have so much support from the community, not just here but worldwide, has been absolutely unreal.
There's a lot of things on Allison's heart. So many people she wants to thank for walking with her through this season. While she's leaning on others, she also finds comfort in the joy climbing brought into their lives.
It's not the sport that is at fault. It just happens. And he was doing what he loved, and that's what I can hold on to.
A reception will follow at the Washington Cracker Building. The Ross Kelly family tells me that this is a time where the community is invited to share a special story or a memory of Jess. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back. We've been talking about, of course, the rain. It just came down. It came so hard and so fast, and really it didn't even last that long. It just was so much water all at once.
Yeah, so intense. A fire hose from the sky. Yeah, sure. And then we had wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Let's get right to it right now. This is what time-lapse video of what happened over at Lake Coeur d'Alene, and you can see the storm building and building. You can almost see rotation going on. It isn't, of course, but I mean, my gosh, just look at that. And for a while, it almost looks like you're looking at ripples in the lake. But of course, that wasn't the case at all. Just those building clouds and that incredible amount of rainfall. We're going through it one more time. Just all of them moving in, and then you just get almost obscured reduced visibility from all the rain that's falling. There it is right there. Let's do a quick recap here. We had a high today of 70, an overnight low of 54. I talked this about the top of the hour. Out at the airport, a quarter inch of rain, but downtown Spokane, about an inch and a half of rain. We talked about one weather service spotter up in the Garland district reported about almost an inch of rain falling in 20 minutes. So, that's just a lot. Right now, we're at 53 degrees with very light rain falling in the Spokane area. We're not going to get much warmer than that tomorrow. Our daytime high is only going to be about 55 degrees as we've got plenty of cool maritime air now pushing into the northwest. And you can see, we had snow, heavy snow that fell in the Sierra Nevada mountain range down in Northern California. A lot of that moisture rotated up into the Pacific Northwest, combined with this much cooler air now moving in off the Pacific Ocean. We're just set up with a lot of unstable air and unseasonably cooler temperatures. So we go from temperatures in the 80s over Mother's Day weekend to temperatures tomorrow that will only be in the 50s. And as you can see, we've got light rain occurring across the area. Here we are in Spokane. It extends up towards Deer Park, also up around Spirit Lake, Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, seeing some of the light rain as well. When I run the Future Tracker computer model for you, 2 o'clock in the morning, we get some heavy rain once again redeveloping in the Silver Valley, as you can see right here, and in Shoshone County. And then at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's just rain. We continue with the showers through 1:30. Central Washington begins to dry out, and then a lot of the stormy activity just moves to the east of us and to the north of us by tomorrow evening. Still cloudy and cool and windy, but we should begin to dry out by about the dinner hour. And then it appears that Saturday will be mostly dry into 10 o'clock Saturday night before the next weather system moves in just in time for Sunday. But again, Saturday, remember, that's our Lilac Parade, our Armed Forces Torchlight Parade. So daytime highs, as I mentioned, will be much cooler than average. High of only 55 in Spokane, 54 in Newport. Sandpoint with a high of 52 degrees, 51 in Pullman. And again, it's another damp, wet day. We'll look for a high of 60 in Colville. And it continues that way. I think we get a bit of a break on Saturday. I know I've got a few raindrops there, but I think we get a bit of a break there. More showers or isolated thunderstorms on Sunday. And then we'll look for rain Monday and Tuesday. Right now, it looks like we begin to dry out the middle part of next week. And for the first 2 days of Memorial Day weekend, I've got partly cloudy skies and highs in the low 70s.
I like the looks of that. Thank you very much. All right, a Western Washington high school told students to stay home today after a staff member came to work while infected with the measles.
So we checked if our local districts require teachers to be vaccinated. More on that coming up.
Initially, we all thought it was a student at our school. We didn't know it was a teacher.
Issaquah High School was closed today after the district confirmed a staff member came to work while infected with the measles. It's now one of 5 new cases in Western Washington.
The Issaquah School District has not said if the infected teacher was up to date on their vaccinations. Washington State does not require staff to be current on their vaccinations. Having said that, here in the Spokane School District, faculty went through a verification process in February. A spokesperson says, should there be an outbreak, staff who cannot provide immunization records cannot return to work until the quarantine ends.
Now, statewide, it's been up to each school district to decide what is required. This month, Governor Jay Inslee signed a new law removing the personal and philosophical options to exempt children from the MMR vaccine that is required for school and child care entry. The new law also makes it mandatory for school and child care staff and even volunteers to provide immunization records showing they've received that MMR vaccine or that they have proof of immunity.
All right, to some sports tonight. Warriors getting a come-from-behind win. The Blazers, they beat them 114-111. The Warriors now have a 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals. So that was the final possession of the game where Andre Iguodala got Damian Lillard to turn over the ball. Klay Thompson, by the way, started slow but then led the charge in the third quarter for the Warriors. He scored 13 points in that quarter, 24 overall. Meantime, former Zag Zach Collins had an awful evening, playing 8 minutes, scoring no points, and accumulating 5 fouls.
Hey, they're not out yet.
They're not out yet.
Not
Best
out
of
yet.
7 right there, but they got to turn it around.
Yes,
My
they do.
Blazers got to turn it around. All right, well, we still have more weather coverage ahead tonight. We'll take a look at some of the conditions we've seen around the region after the break. And if you would like to share videos and photos with us, just post them to our KREM 2 Facebook page.
You're watching KREM 2 News at 11.
Welcome back. A lot of you have been sharing your photos and your videos of the big story of the day, of course, which was the extreme weather.
Yeah, we'll take a look now at some of the best moments caught on camera tonight. So this video is actually of hail at my house this evening. My wife sent me this video. She says if it plays right here, it does play.
Eventually.
Maybe.
Well,
She said aside from the hail, rain was really impressive. The hardest she's seen it rain in 4 years. So this video is from our Jen York. She tweeted out tonight of rushing waters around her. She said, it's up to my shins out here.
Yeah.
And it was, in fact, in a lot of places deeper than that.
Yeah, our photographer Dave Summers actually tweeted out another video of high waters getting onto I-90 eastbound in downtown Spokane. Look at that.
My goodness.
It's incredible. It looks like it's almost up to the window of his car.
Like he needs a boat.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just incredible images coming in. All that water, though, did make for a very spectacular shot of the falls downtown. This also was one thing that we got a lot of questions about. This is a picture from Heidi Simmons. So this was out near the Wandermere area in North Spokane. Quite a few people wondering, why does it look like a tornado, a funnel cloud? But Tom, we're saying that we're not sure that that's exactly what that was.
No, we don't think it was although we could get cold air funnels with these types of storms.
Okay.
But we don't think that was it. We didn't hear any reports of any kind of rotation. So, rain shaft or just kind of different layered clouds.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
but it got your attention.
It did.
It certainly did. And it'll be interesting to see in the coming days, how many homes across the region were damaged or sustained flooding because of this, right?
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, and we even had some folks that were tweeting to us saying, hey, my car got flooded. What do I do?
Yes.
Right.
So there's people are going to be dealing with that now.
Yes.
There's going to be some fallout. So I guess the big question tonight, Tom, is it over now?
Well, the rain is not over, but I think the strong storms are over, but we've still got light rain overnight, and again expected on Friday. Saturday should be mostly dry, but I think more storms will move in late Saturday night into Sunday. Possibility of a few more thunderstorms, and it's really going to be cold and windy on Friday. Wind gust to 30.
But the Torchlight Parade, you're thinking, might be dry.
Yeah, it may be dry, but bundle up.
All right, sounds good.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.